Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to Andrea Monroe from Head to Toe. Okay, hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been a minute guys, but I am back with another one. And you guys, I want to do a tribute to my mom. It's been a decade since she passed away, and I just want to reflect and give you guys, and I want to instill some hope. Hopefully this video brings some deliverance. And you guys, I want to hear your testimonies about if you have lost your mom. In the comment section below, tell me how you're coping with it. Tell me how you're dealing with it. And you guys, I'm just gonna jump right into it. So December 21st of 2010 is when I lost my mom. And so a decade without her has been hard. It's been an emotional roller coaster. It's been a disaster at times. It's been a nightmare that you cannot wake up from. It's also been reflection of strength. It's been ministry. It's been an outpour. It's been my ability to give back. It's been my ability to love hard. And the list goes on. So I want to take you guys back to before she passed, and I want to reflect now. So I'm going to take you back a little bit and then into present. So I remember in May when I graduated from Payne College, I got my bachelor's. And I remember my mom screaming and hollering. And so parents, if you're a parent and you know, if you go to your kids' football game or you go to their graduation from kindergarten or 8th grade or high school or whatever, and you screaming for your kids, right? And you ask your kids, did you hear me screaming for you? And they be like, no, Mom, I did not hear you. Or no, Dad, I didn't hear you. Y'all, I heard my mama. Okay, she was loud and she was proud. I could hear my mom in Amelia Mare March. That's how distinct her scream was, or in her yelling and her cheering for people. And so I still have the card that she gave me. And the card read, one of the greatest gifts any child can give their parent is graduating from college. And so I was the first to graduate from college out of my siblings. And it was like, as a kid, you know that your parents sacrificed so much. So it's literally, yeah, a nice car, a nice house, but knowing that I could give her something in that small amount of time, it meant everything to me. So I still have the card, and she told me, to keep God first, which I feel like I do. And, it was just amazing knowing how proud she was. And so I'm going to fast forward to that summer. So that summer, God was really preparing us. And I'm going to say me personally, because me and my mom started getting more intimate. She started revealing some things to me that she had never revealed before. And so, I never understood why it was happening, but I also believe that she knew her time was limited. And so we started having intimate talks that summer. I was able to stay home the entire summer, which was kind of crazy because I was working. And so my manager at the time, he was just like, come back for 2 weeks and then you can go back home. So I was home for 2 months. And my uncle, who was deployed for years, was able to come home. So we was taking family pictures. Like, God was really preparing us. And so I remember starting grad school in that August when I got back. And my first class I took was grief counseling. And so God will start to set things up for you, and you don't even realize it until you take time to stop being distracted and reflect how good he's been, and he's been there the whole time, right? And so I'll never forget the first assignment. It was an assignment, it was a worksheet, and it was like a questionnaire. And it was like, if who would be the most influential person in your life that died, like, and why? And I put my dad, because my dad was and still is the provider and the protector of our family. He's the breadwinner. And so I just couldn't imagine him not being there to protect us and not being there to provide for us. And honestly, I thought my mom would outlive my dad. So, you know, I remember telling her about school and an assignment in a class that I was taking, and she would joke and say, girl, when you get your refund check, honey, send me some money, child. And so I just remember those times. And so I never knew that I was taking grief counseling for my own self up until she got sick. And when I tell y'all to be able to have straight A's during the times that my mom got sick, up until the time she died, up until after that, it was the grace of God. And so after she passed, so December 21st, 2010, I watched my mom take her last breath. And I instantly, and before then, y'all, when I tell y'all I was on fire for God, like I was having Bible study. When my mom got sick, when I saw her body after having a stroke, everybody was like, brace yourself, it's not good. My daddy told me, like, shorty, it don't look good, da da da. And when I went in, like, after you have a stroke, your body is so discombobulated. And I just remember having strength, walking into the room and going to her bed. And we used to call each other girl. And I was like, hey, girl. And when I tell y'all, she was able to calm her body down so that they can strap her arms down so she wouldn't snatch out any of her IVs. And the nurses was so amazed at how she responded to my voice. And so I took my family into the chapel. We prayed. And I mean, I never lost my faith because I just knew God was going to heal my mama. And so when he didn't, oh God, when he didn't, I struggled, y'all, for years with my faith. When I tell y'all, when you favored and you chosen by God, to sit here and tell y'all that I'm starting school January 14th for ministry. Somebody who was so angry with God, wanted nothing to do with church, and was just numb. It's the grace of God. God will never give up on you. He will never give up on you. And so what people don't understand, when someone that close to you dies, you're grieving, but you also have the business side, right? So I want to encourage any person watching this, any person that this video gets to, if you do not have life insurance, please do so. Please get it. And I thank God that my dad, as the provider and the protector, he always made sure that we all had life insurance, because that would have been an added stress to when my mom actually passed. And so, you know, picking out caskets, designing tombstones, picking out wigs and outfits and all of that, it takes a toll on you. It really takes a toll on you. And it took a toll on me, but I didn't realize it because my mom, we always had intimate conversations about death because she was never afraid to die. And she always went to everybody's funeral. So she was like, you know, when I die, when I tell y'all she prophesied how it was going to go, it came to pass exactly how she said it would. And so I just remember having this inherent strength from her and becoming the rock at that time. And so after she passed away and we buried her and everything, I was so numb, y'all. And when I tell y'all, in your misery, God performed a ministry. When you are chosen and when you are favored by God. After my mom passed, so many people that I was going to college with, their mom passed too. And they was reaching out to me. And so I had to deliver a word to these people. I had to instill hope to them because there was no right words that anybody could tell me that would make me feel better. And so after school, after my first class, I got an A. My next class I took was substance abuse. And so at the time, nobody knew I was struggling with alcohol. Nobody knew. Because I'm private, y'all. I don't like people in my business. If you close to me, then I'm an open book. But I don't just willingly tell people my business unless the time is right or whatever. And so my classmate, my friend at the time, she was like, girl, I want you to go to Alcohol Anonymous with me. And she never knew what was going on. I went to Narcotic Anonymous because at this point, I'm not an alcoholic. I didn't know that me drinking just to go to bed was me forming horrible habits of becoming an alcoholic. And alcoholism runs in my family. My granddad, who I never got to meet and who my mom only knew till she was 13, was a functioning alcoholic. He was a handyman. He was very good with his hands from what my aunties and uncles tell me. But he could like take a car apart and put it together all while being drunk. And so when alcoholism runs in your family, you have to be extremely careful because it's already in your blood. And so, like I said, I didn't know that I was becoming an alcoholic. I just wanted to sleep because every time I closed my eyes, y'all, all I could see was my mom taking her last breath, and it just taunted me. I would stay up for days, and that was really the only way I could go to sleep. And so when we go to Alcohol Anonymous, y'all, it's such a beautiful atmosphere. It's very spiritual. They recite the God's, serenity prayer. God grant me, the serenity, that prayer. And they open up the meeting in prayer. They close the meeting in prayer. Everybody is congratulating and cheering people on. If somebody relapsed, they lift them up. You get a day one pin again. People celebrating 60 years of sobriety, 20 years, 20 days. I mean, it's amazing. And so, with us being college students and grad students, and they, so excited about us being there, they closing out, everybody giving their last remarks. And they was like, do you guys have anything, that you want to say? So, my friend, she was like, nah, I'm good. And I was like, yeah, I do. And she looking, she like, what you gonna say, girl? So I started giving my testimony, and I started being open and honest about what I was struggling with. And so, guys, if you are struggling with alcohol, if you're struggling with drugs, it's never going to fill that void. It's never going to give you the peace that you need. It's not a void filler. It's not a hole filler. It's just something that numbs you for a little while, and then you have to do it again instead of dealing actually with that pain. And so I said, hey, my name is Andrea and I'm an alcoholic. Everybody like, hey, Andrea, because that's how you have to announce yourself, even if you've been sober for 60 years, because you're literally a drink away. And so I was like, no, really, I'm an alcoholic. And my friend, she looking at me like, girl, what is you doing? What are you talking about? And nobody knew what I was dealing with. So I told my testimony, and I told everybody how I was struggling with alcoholism. And so before that meeting, I was praying to God to take the taste out my mouth. I didn't want to drink like that, you guys. Like I never had a desire to do that, but it was all I knew because I was so angry at God. And so I was like, from this point forward, because I'm aware, I'm going to work on it. And when I tell y'all, this was a prayer. Some prayers God is going to answer instantaneously, expeditiously, okay? This was one of the prayers that God answered immediately for me. When I said, take the taste out of my mouth, y'all, of course, I was still drinking. But when I tell y'all I started having hangovers while I was drinking, I don't know anybody else who would have hangovers while they were drinking. I could take 2 sips and the room is spinning. I'm having a headache immediately. Like, usually those are things that happen the next day. But that's just how God works when, you're in connection with him and when he, God loves us. And so, after that, I was delivered from alcoholism. Now, deliverance means that you are in control. That means that you don't do the things that you used to do because now you are aware and God's power has, overcome your body. Y'all can be around alcohol. And I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I don't have wine every now and then. Or I might go to a Mexican restaurant and have a small margarita. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that I don't. But what I will say is that alcohol is not a part of my life. It's not something that I do 365 days. It ain't even something I do 300 days out the year. But I have been in control. It doesn't control me. I control it. So I know one glass of wine, that's all I need. And it's not going to be very often. It's very seldom that I'm drinking. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit. So graduating from grad school last year, and just from 22 to now 33, it's been crazy. It's been a roller coaster. You have ups, you have downs, and you never know when life is gonna drop or when it's gonna bring you back up. And that's how my life has been. My life without my mom, without my best friend, my cheerleader, my homegirl, it's been tough because a lot of the heartbreaks, the betrayal, the things that I've been through personally would have never happened. Issues with family, it would have never happened if my mom wasn't here. But when I tell y'all the woman that I am today, it's also because my mom wasn't here. And it allowed God to come in and be the ultimate parent in my life. And so I miss my mom immensely. When they say time heals all, it don't. Time is a coping skill. It's a coping mechanism. And it gives you the opportunity to cope daily. And so even a decade later, I still have an urge to pick up my phone and call my mom. And when she visits me in my sleep, I don't want to wake up. Like, it's one of those things where you never get over it, but you just learn to hold dear to those memories. The memories I have of my mom, nobody can take that away from me. I don't have a lot of tangible items that was left of her. I have her wedding ring, which means a lot to me. But my sisters, everybody took stuff. I didn't have pictures. I didn't have anything, but I have the memories and I have the intimacy that the talks, and the rides, the car rides, and the 2 weeks that she came before I graduated and I had her all to myself. Like, those are the things that I hold dear, because tangible items don't mean anything when they're not here. And so nobody can take away the memories. And my prayer every day is that I'm making my mother proud. That all of her wisdom, all of her bluntness, all of her knowledge, everything is not in vain. I pray that, like, I'm literally her twin. Like, I am my mom reincarnated. I look like her. I act like her. Like, my mannerisms is like her. Like, she was my superhero. She was my ultimate idol. Like, I miss her so much. And as I accomplish more in my life, I wish she was here. And I know she lives inside of me. I know she lives in my heart, but I just would love for her to be here and see everything that I'm doing with my life, and to hear her say, I'm so proud of you. That would mean everything to me. Like, I really wish heaven had visitor hours, because I'll be maxed out. Like, girl, I just got to tell you this. I just need to tell you that. I just want to hear her say, hey, girl. I just want to hear her say that one more time. Like, if I would have known that she wasn't going to be here long, like, I would have added some things, so I wouldn't have done anything differently, because I gave her flowers while she could smell it. I honor my mom, and I honor my parents. And so, you guys, I just want to let you know that time is not on our side. Time goes fast. And so, if your parent is still alive, cherish them. They're not going to do everything right, but find a way in an equal balance to be able to love them, either from a distance or close. Everybody who has lost their mom, I know how you feel. It's been 10 years for me, and my heart's still broken. But when I tell y'all, God has restored joy in my life. And my grieving process didn't start till 6 months after. 6 months to a year. And I'll never forget, because I remember, guys, I was so angry with God. And I remember sitting in my bed Indian style. I'll never forget this. And the lights, it was so dark. And you guys, my mom introduced me to church and the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. My mom was on fire for God. That's where I get it from. But my encounters with God is why I love him so much for myself. My mom faith and all of that, it can't get me into heaven, y'all. But I remember sitting in the bed and I was just sitting in the dark and I was just missing my mama so much. And so I hadn't even cried, y'all. I was so numb. Like, you ever been so numb to where you can't hear your heartbeat? You can't feel it. You can't hear your breaths. You can't feel your own body. That's how I was for a very long time. And so as I'm sitting Indian style in the bed, a light shoots past my eyes and I hear a voice. And it was God's voice. He said, "She was never yours." And I started sobbing. And that's when I knew, that's when my grieving process started. So we get so caught up in, that's my mama, that's my daddy, that's my grandma, that's my uncle, that's my granddaddy. Y'all, we are loners. We are only here for a little amount of time. And so we have to make the biggest impact, not only within our family, but within this world, because we don't know the hour nor the day where we will no longer belong to anybody. And so I'm grateful to say that Jennifer Moorhead was my mom. I'm grateful to say that I had a mom that not only that I loved, but was loved by so many people. And so as time passes, like I said, I wish she was here. I wish she was here to see one day I'm gonna be a wife and I'll be a mother. And I wish that my grandkids would have their grandma here. But that's not my reality. And so now I have to continue to make her proud. I have to continue to know that although she's not here in the present, she's still here in my heart. She's still here in the spirit. She's still watching over me. And I take pride in when people say, "Girl, you look like your mama," or "Girl, you remind me so much of Jen." Like, I take pride in that because I know the outstanding woman my mom was. So you guys, I hope that this video, anybody that is lost, anybody that is numb, I feel your pain daily. And a decade later, I still feel your pain. I'm still relatable to you. But what I can tell you is that it gets easier. And you have to surround yourself with people who understand exactly how you feel. Go to counseling. I did not go to counseling, y'all. I know I'm a therapist. This is a shame. I did not go to counseling, but I wish I would have. And so if you are experiencing this, and I'm going to start going to counseling, guys, but you need to go to counseling. Don't be ashamed to know your weaknesses. Because we can identify our strengths. Girl, I'm strong. I'm this, I'm that. But be able to identify your weaknesses and work through them. It's going to be the best healing that you could give your children. The best healing that you can provide to people around you in your family. And you'll be the best husband or wife that you could be when you are whole again. And so I hope that this video gave you some hope. I hope that my transparency brings forth a testimony. You guys, like, comment, share, subscribe. Tell me how you feeling in the comment section below. And hit that notification button so you're on board with these weekly videos I'm dropping. You guys, I love you so much. Don't forget to dream bigger than your fears, more than your imagination, surpassing your wildest dreams. I am Andrea Monroe. Thank you so much for watching Andrea Monroe from head to toe. I love you guys so much. And the very most important part, don't forget to be amazing. Duh. Bye.